Luxair Jets is excited to announce the new, most convenient way to fly nonstop from Lexington to historic Saratoga Springs throughout the racing meet. We are now offering exclusive group packages on our luxurious private jets. Each package offers a once-in-a-lifetime experience that you can share with your friends, family, or business partners. Call for pricing and availability.
It's the Saratoga Report, brought to you by Luxair Jets. Sunday's card, maybe a bit of a letdown after Whitney Day, but some pretty good racing. Two stakes races on the card. The Aladar, which goes as a third race, and the real feature of the day is the Troy handicap. And one thing about the Troy, last year $100,000 purse, this year $250,000, $250,000 for turf sprinters. It's about one of the biggest turf sprints anywhere aside from the Breeders' Cup turf sprint. But we'll start with the Aladar, and it's kind of an odd race. Only 6 horses were entered in the race. Breaking Lucky is entered only if the racetrack is wet on Saturday. He will scratch from the Whitney to run in the Aladar. Also, Mohaman and Red Rifle, if it gets real wet here on Saturday, are entered main track only for the lure, so they'll come out of here because they may run on Saturday, so who knows what's going to be left by the time they get the post here. But it's not one of the stakes this year. 4 of the 6 starters have not won a race this year. Mohaman, who's on the rail, just trying to figure out what's going on with Mohaman. Certainly not back to his top form. He will put blinkers on this time to try to regain some of that. Red Rifle, primarily a turf horse, but he's won on the dirt for Todd Pletcher. Mo Tom coming in from Kentucky for trainer Tom Amos. He could certainly be a factor in here. Conquest Windy City for Brendan Walsh, and windy it is out here. Conquest Windy City for Brendan Walsh. He does have a win this year, a little bit off his game of late. Look for him to be forwardly placed. Breaking Lucky, as I say, is entered in the Whitney, so likely to come out of here, barring some real bad weather on Saturday. And Rally Cry may be the horse to beat for Todd Pletcher. And little odd occurrence with Rally Cry last weekend with his final work for this race. He was in the midst of a work on Saturday, I believe it was, when a horse broke down in front of him. He had to abort the work, pull up, came back the next day over on the training track to get that half-mile work in, 48-4 for trainer Todd Pletcher. So that's the Aladar. We may have anywhere from 3 to 5 starters in there, depending on the weather over the weekend. But it's the Troy handicap that's really going to be the main event on the card, and what a race it is. It's bringing together some of the top turf sprinters in the country. Certainly many of these you're going to see back on Breeders' Cup Day. A year ago, trainer Chris Clement won this race for the $100,000 purse with Disco Partner. Disco Partner just beating out the slight favorite Green Mass that day. Well, Disco Partner certainly got on to bigger and better things this year. He now may be the leader of the turf division on the East Coast at this time. But Clement is going to be back in. Chris will be back in trying to defend that title with another of his veteran turf specialists, sprint specialists, and that's Pure Sensation. And who does he got to beat? Maybe Green Mass. Green Mass back again for trainer Brad Cox, and he is certainly in peak form now. He's been first to second in, I believe, 5 of his last, or maybe all of his 6 last starts. Worked out the other day here, looked just terrific on the turf course. So I think Green Mass is going to avenge that setback and beat Pure Sensation here. But Pure Sensation is coming off his top buyer figure of his career, winning the Parks Grade 3 park sprint, turf sprint last time out. So he's going to be a big factor. Long on value. You might remember his furious late run in Dubai that fell just short. A frustrating defeat there in the Al Quaz sprint. He came back, went to Ascot next out and was not as effective there. But he won over this course last year. He was beaten in the Troy only a neck by Disco Partner and right behind Green Mass. So obviously he's a big threat. Undrafted for Wesley Ward is in here. We also have Holding Gold for trainer Mark Cassie, who was third, beating the late in the Jaipar right behind Green Mask. And it was Disco Partner who won the Jaipar in not track, but in track, but also World record time. So the Troy handicap, it is a handicap, and only 1 pound separating the top 4 weighted horses in here, so it shows you how evenly matched they are, at least in the racing secretary's mind, and I think you're going to see the same thing on the tote board. I'm going with Green Mask to avenge that tough loss here last year to Disco Partner, and that tough loss to Disco Partner in the Jaipur. Hopefully the weather will hold out for us. Saturday's rain is in the forecast. Sunday looks like it's going to be good. Maybe Monday again, some more rain. But we'll be back later in the weekend with more news from Saratoga with the Saratoga Report, brought to you by Luxair Jets right here on DRF.com.